New Joseph.
What's up? Same old, same old.
Same story, different day.
Yeah.
I can relate.
It's the story of my life.
You're watching the Scooch Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Scooch Podcast. And as you can tell, we are especially energetic and eccentric this evening.
Yeah, we're totally not down or anything.
My co-host says it all. Nah, I'm actually in a pretty good mood, I guess, but I mean Joseph is too, right? It's a mind game. It's mind over matter in this case.
Sure, let's go with that.
But I suspect that Joseph's in a foul mood, but we won't get into it. We'll soldier on through this podcast, and hopefully it'll be a good listening experience.
I'm gonna try and put on a face.
Put on a smile. This is just like the Joker movie.
Here we go.
Joker 2. I think that's already in production, right? Joker 2.
No, I don't know.
Well, not only did I hear that it's in production, it's also a listing on Letterboxd. So that makes it kind of.
That don't mean nothing.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
When have they had like a faulty title or a title that never came to fruition? Exactly.
They literally just started doing TV.
Yeah,
It's still early in that. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get why they
thing got made, but it's only like very recently where it started. I wouldn't really call it popular, but it started getting a little bit more traction.
I don't know why they do TV. Because TV is so nuanced. Because it comes with so many different writers and production teams, and directors. That's like, it could be totally different each season, and it could be totally different each episode. Especially if it's not serialized. What?
I gotta look this shit up.
I thought Breaking Bad would be on here, but it's not. They have Loki though. It's they count it as a movie for
Holy crap.
312 minutes. What's the shocking news? I want to know.
Joker is at 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, 59% on Metacritic.
Is that a film critics or audience score?
It's got an audience score of 88 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I think you remember when it first released, it was like circulating like
yeah, critics. It's
you remember the whole inceldom thing? Like they were afraid that Joker would like influence the onslaught of incels to like do mass shootings and stuff like that. I think that's why. Because a lot of professional reviewers, it's solely political based, so I don't really trust.
But I want to say it was a lot higher than that when it first came out.
I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. How, you know?
But I literally just saw this score and it was that low.
But it's just sad that the whole current landscape of like reviewers is like wholly politicized.
Yeah, there's a sequel in the works.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about that, honestly, because I think this is just like Joker's just like a really good self-contained story, and I don't know how I feel about it continuing. I mean, of course, I'd be intrigued to watch it, but doesn't set well with me currently. But yeah, still Todd Phillips and Joaquin, I assume.
Phillips is the only one confirmed, like, reportedly signed on to it.
Who would replace Joaquin Phoenix?
I'm not saying he's not coming back,
I know.
but like right now, according to this one I'm looking at,
They should get Ryan Reynolds.
If they're going to have it Joker versus Batman, they gotta recast Joker because Batman was still like
Yeah.
probably like 8-9 years old whenever like his parents got killed.
Right. So they should have Ryan Reynolds as Joker?
No.
Why not? Have you seen Free Guy yet?
Nope.
Do you want to see Free Guy?
I mean, I'll watch it when it comes out and
I'm not looking forward to it.
so.
Seems like the most Reddit movie ever made. It's got.
No, I'm not gonna judge it.
It's.
'Cause there's been several movies where I've gone into it not expecting them to be a whole lot and come out very surprised and having it be one of my favorite movies of all time.
So are you saying Free Guy has the potential to be the best movie of all time?
I mean, it's possible. I don't think it will be, but I mean, considering the fact
Look
that
at
I've never
Joseph.
seen it.
I'm proud of him. He has more of an open mind than I do.
I mean, I go into every movie like that. Either it could be the worst movie, or it can be the best movie, or it can be average. I mean,
Is there no in between with those three categories?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just don't want to list all the different caliber quality stuff.
I mean, I'd be down to watch it, but I'm certainly going in with low expectations.
Sure.
But I know you like Ryan Reynolds. Well, Joseph, what are we talking about today? I'm going to let you start off this time.
Talking about Ant-Man.
Such enthusiasm.
Just get right into it. Y'all see the title. I don't know why everybody has to do these long intros to set this stuff up. You gotta see the title. You gotta see the thumbnail.
What do you mean setting up? I was just talking to you.
I know.
This wasn't
Okay, so-
segueing into Ant-Man. It's just like, all right, we've talked enough. Time to get into the Marvel movie.
Oh no, I'm not talking about this video.
What do you mean exactly then?
Channel in particular.
Who are you throwing shade at?
Me, myself, and I.
Look at Joseph. He's coming in here with a totally open mind. He's self-aware of some flaws that he may have done in the past.
Yeah, I'm no Deadpool.
He's exposing his criminal record, and
I told you. No.
He's being
I told
totally
you that in
transparent.
confidence now.
You said your Deadpool video. You said you were like expositioning too much with Deadpool.
I don't know.
You don't know. So Ant-Man. I'm gonna let you express your thoughts first, because I always feel like I kind of go into it, and then I just like shit all over the movie, and then you're like, oh, wasn't that bad? And then, so I just want to change up the dynamic a little bit here. I do know firsthand that this wasn't ranked super low on your ranking the MCU films. So I know you didn't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't hate it. I really enjoyed it. Dare I say, loved it. I mean, the top from the 16th position on to the number 1 are movies that I like to love.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a movie above the 6, like I think 16 was Age of Ultron. Every movie before, like above that, I liked or loved. But hey, man, I really enjoyed. I'm assuming, I don't know if you're trolling me, but I read your message in our little Discord server.
Why do you think I'm always trolling?
Yeah, you know how to go into a movie with open mind, so called, whether either you can be very good or very, very bad.
Yeah.
I always know that's a possibility with you. That's why unless I can hear your voice and hear like the tone you usually say it in, I don't believe anything you have to say in text.
Well, just know when I talk about media, for the most part, especially with film, for the most part, I'm serious. Of course, I have
Minions.
those. That's what I was getting into. Of
The
course,
Room?
okay, I actually do love The Room. I don't know if I love Minions because I haven't actually seen the movie. I love the idea. I've told you I've loved the idea of Minions.
But you haven't even seen it.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I express.
You haven't even seen a Despicable Me movie.
I have seen 1 and 2. I just
look at you.
have yet to see 3 or Minions.
Jesus.
I will say that I don't really hold Despicable Me in high regard, so probably I shouldn't for Minions, but I think doing away with the whole Gru being a villain trying to turn into like a good guy, daddy figure, I think that's a boring plot. Snooze, but Minions, the trio, Dave, Dave and company going on a trek, like an adventure, and going through like, different conflicts and stuff. I think that's a very interesting dynamic and something really fun for both kids and adults. So one day I will watch Minions. One day.
Hold on. Repeat that last bit again.
About what? Which part in particular?
Right before you said I will watch Minions.
It seems like the perfect movie for both kids and adults. Is that the part?
Banana.
I mean, that's
a perfect movie for adults.
That's the kids part. But banana can also be like a sexual innuendo for the adults.
Shut up.
I'm just saying. I like when a movie combines elements that both audiences can enjoy. Men and women, trans and lesbian, black and white, Hispanic and Chinese. I mean...
You are seriously not telling me that the Minions bring the world together.
They do. Okay, let's just make this comparison. Ant-Man.
Okay.
At the box office.
I know it's not DreamWorks. I know it's not... No, hang on. I know it's not DreamWorks. I know it's not Pixar. I know it's not Disney. Who makes the Minions movie? What's that company?
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's literally on the tip of my tongue.
Freaking...
What is it? I know it. I used to know this by heart.
So I know it's not
Illumination. It's Illumination. Yes.
Oh, okay. What point was I about to make? I don't know. It's my train of thought.
I don't know. I think you're just about to be a hater. I will say, Illumination has an extremely bad track record. And it totally just like it totally puts animate, like it totally just like doesn't appreciate animation, but I have a good feelings about Minions, okay? I have really good feelings about Minions. And
Oh dear Lord.
I guess I haven't watched it yet because I don't want my opinion of it to change, potentially. But it is in my top 10. It is in my top 10 films.
Top 10 what?
Films of all time.
Yet you haven't even seen it.
Yeah, but I love the idea of it. And
what was it you always said to me about it's not the idea, it's the execution or something like that?
I didn't say anything like that to you. At least I don't think I did.
Okay, let me find the episode and I'll
Okay.
DM you after this.
Yeah.
'Cause I know you did.
Okay.
Question is, was it on camera or was it recording? Just like a private conversation. Bull.
It's not about the idea, it's about the execution. It might have been about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't remember what it was about. I know it's some video we did together.
All right,
I don't know if it was on my channel or yours.
All jokes aside,
I mean, I wasn't joking, but okay.
let's think this compares. I mean, neither was I, but I thought you were joking about
you were trolling.
No, I was not. Okay, Ant-Man, $520 million at the box office. Let's look at Minions. Actually,
I'm not going. Minions made more.
$1.2 billion, and that's only in the United States. In Canada.
What ranking of it? It's like ridiculous where it ranks among the like in film in general. Where was freaking ranks? It's the 21st highest grossing movie of all time. Number 21.
It should be number 1.
Let's just talk Ant-Man. I'm done with this crap.
What? What's the problem? Oh, you rather Avatar and Titanic take the top spot? Boring.
I'd rather Avengers Endgame, but okay. But
That's
you know
close.
that scene in Billy Madison where
Classic.
at the very end when that little the judge, I don't think he was like any kind of teacher or anything.
Yeah.
The judge
Everyone's
of that final
dumber for
competition.
hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. That's how I feel about what you're talking about with the Minions.
You dropped a couple IQ points. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the listeners? They're not in the room.
Oh, they did too.
Okay. Go on. Talk about Ant-Man some more, and then I'll give my side.
My basic thoughts is I really enjoyed it. It was a very entertaining, times humorous. I wasn't bored at any time. What?
I was just saying. I felt like this
more
movie
humorous than your Minions movie.
I was just saying. No, I'm not saying it's not funny. I'm just saying you could tell this movie tried to be a comedy first and a superhero movie last, especially with the original script being written by Edgar Wright.
It was a heist movie first. Heist and comedy.
Hardly. I mean, there's heist elements, but I wouldn't call it like an Ocean's 12.
The whole plot was in stealing that little Yellow Jacket suit.
Yeah.
That was a whole story.
Wasn't the whole story.
95% of it.
95%? Maybe like 65.
95.
65 is fair. There's the whole the Wasp dynamic, the daddy-daughter dynamic, the character development there. The character development with Scott, the most boring person in the MCU. We got to see Anthony Mackie lose a fight. Very sad. His first one was with Eminem. Second one with Paul Rudd. Let Anthony win for once. Jeez. That's all I'm asking for in this freaking MCU. But I digress. Go ahead, Joseph. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, I mean, I've already talked about stuff that I like. What didn't you like about it?
I need,
Besides
man,
Paul
I should have bought some whiskey for this episode.
Which I actually like Paul Rudd, so I don't know what the deal is right there, but okay.
Well, firstly, I'll say Paul Rudd's overrated. I don't hate him personally as an actor or anything, but I certainly do think he's overrated. But just his character is so boring in this. I think I found the new contender for my least favorite Marvel movie.
Seriously?
It was the first Avengers, but I think I have to give it to Ant-Man.
I thought it was the Guardians.
I think I have to give it to Ant-Man still. I enjoyed Guardians more than this. Yep. And I could go on a tangent of all the stuff I like, but I want to let you finish with your positives and maybe any negatives you may have had with the film. I am intrigued to hear before I just go off. I didn't even read the film synopsis. I just realized that now. Do you want me to read it? He's in shock, so I'm gonna read it for you guys, you folks at home. Forced out of his own company by former protege Darren Cross, Dr. Hank Pym recruits the talents of Scott Lang, a master thief just released from prison. Lang becomes Ant-Man, trained by Pym and armed with a suit that allows him to shrink in size, possesses superhuman strength, and control an army of ants. The miniature hero must use his new skills to prevent Cross, also known as Yellow Jacket, from perfecting the same technology and using it as a weapon for evil. My question is, what is this? The freaking Ant Bully? Directed by John A. Davis. Am I right? It's the same guy for Jimmy Neutron. And I'm just saying, what is this? The Ant Bully? What is this? Ants with Woody Allen?
Go on, rule of three.
Huh?
Rule of three. Make up another one. Let me make up another one. Come up with another one.
With another what?
You said the Ant Bully. You said ants. Come up with another one.
Okay, what is this?
Rule
A
of three.
Bug's Life?
Okay, now you're just stretching with that one.
Well, that's what you talk. What's another ant movie?
I don't know. I wasn't the one who's doing that kind of. It's freaking.
Those are the only ant movies ever, I think.
I'm sure there were others.
Of course.
Really, the only negative thing I can say about this movie is the villain was a little underdeveloped. That's it.
Like, I didn't mind the villain at first. Like, I thought you know, him being a protege, he was a little nuanced and didn't like seem totally, it wasn't totally black and white with him, but towards the end it was like textbook bad guy, and I was just rolling my eyes. But at the beginning I didn't mind him all that much. But you know, he's bald, so he must be evil. You have Jeff Bezos as the villain. Hot Ones with Scott Evans. Don't he looks just like Scott Evans to me. Does he not?
Scott Evans.
Isn't that his name? From Hot Ones?
You mean Sean?
Oh yeah, Sean Evans. Where'd I get Scott from?
That's a good question. Man, they don't really look that similar.
Yes, they do. Oh my god, they look more similar than I previously thought. Okay, I'll go into some negatives.
The similarities is they're both bald and they're both white.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's all you need. I mean,
okay, so Sean Evans, Corey Stoll, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes. For all of my non-white viewers out there, I think you can confirm this. I'll just start with some negatives.
You realize?
Wait. Where were you gonna go with that thought?
No,
please elaborate. Please.
You're going with your negatives.
All right. First negative I had with the film was the cinematography was god awful. Like it was like TV production cinematography. Very low budget look. The only cinematic part of this movie was the post-credit scene. That's the only scene that looked cinematic. Or like I was watching an actual movie. A lot of the shots felt like I was just watching like Everybody Loves Raymond. And I only make that comparison because the stepdad looks like I forgot the brother's name on Raymond, but the guy who looks like a cartoon character.
No, he doesn't.
And although like the Ant-Man like transformations were kind of cool, most of the shots were pretty flat and bland, like nothing really interesting going on. I don't really care for any of the characters in this film. I didn't feel anyone had that good of chemistry. Like the Michael Pena character and all of them, the T.I. and all of them, I don't feel like they're actually friends. And I felt like Paul Rudd's daughter wasn't his actual daughter. Just no one had any chemistry in this one. Joseph has nothing to say, so I'll move on. Let's see. Oh, I thought it was especially funny when like Paul Rudd, I'll call him Scott. Oh, that's why I said Scott Evans, because Scott. When Scott lost his flying ant pal Anthony, and he called out for Anthony when he died. Sometimes this film is so hilarious in the most unintentional way. Like most of the like on the brow humor didn't really get me, or doesn't really stand out. I guess the person with the most charisma in this film is Michael Pena. Yeah. Most people say Paul Rudd, but I don't really care for Paul Rudd all that much. I don't get the craze with him. You could take this as either also another thing with another funny line is when the daughter says, "I want my daddy," and then Darren Cross says, "I want your daddy too." Just so bad, such bad writing. And you could either take this as a positive or a negative, but the film, it's much smaller, right? It hardly has ties, except for with some Stark Industry name drops and, of course, the Falcon fight, which was probably a highlight to this movie, if you could call it one for me. Like, I didn't mind it. I just love Anthony Mackie, so anytime he's on screen, and that's not like making a joke, I just like Anthony Mackie. I think he's way better than Paul Rudd. But as I was saying, Joseph had a thought. Go ahead, Joseph.
No, I don't have a thought. I'm just listening.
You took an inhale, like you're about to say, like you're about to rebuttal.
I disagree with everything, pretty much everything you said so far.
Can you back them up? Can you argue your way out of my points?
The chemistry one, I can actually that's a matter of like personal opinion.
No,
that's
I think
fine.
it's objectively just kind of bad writing that these characters.
Sometimes it's personal opinion. Sometimes it's
okay. We could leave it to
very
subjectivity.
obvious.
Yeah, we can
Anyways,
leave it to subjectivity.
I'm the exact opposite. I don't care. I don't see what the praise is for Anthony Mackie, and I don't. I'm the exact opposite.
I'm not gonna make this a race thing.
It has nothing to do with race. Don't even know. Of course, you bring that.
I just think.
No.
No, I'm kidding about that part. But I just feel like I don't know. Anthony Mackie just has more charisma. Paul Rudd just seems like a regular guy.
Like behind the scenes, like I've seen some interviews, like Comic-Con panels and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In the movies and in the TV show, no.
I think like his
I
off-screen.
don't see that.
No, I think his off-screen persona translates well to on-screen persona.
Not in the MCU.
Well, I like him in the MCU as a Falcon.
He's fine. I'm not saying I don't like it, like the Falcon, but he's.
Of course, this is all subjective. But what's your argument for Paul Rudd?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what's the height? Is there something I'm missing? The Paul Rudd?
The humor, I mean, just. Boy.
He is an
really
Aries like me.
Because I don't understand. Because every movie that I think you may like, you end up hating. So I don't know where to go. Like,
are you saying I'm inconsistent?
No, you're inconsistent with my expectations of what you like.
You would, yeah, exactly. Like you see a pattern, and it has. I had to be consistent for you to see a pattern to like assume what I like. So are you saying I'm inconsistent, or you just like get it wrong each time?
No, I get it wrong because. Hang on, let me pull up this list of upcoming movies so I can see which ones.
Did you ever think that Iron Man 3?
Like.
Did you ever think that Iron Man 3 would be my favorite?
No. Like up to this point.
That's hilarious.
Up to this point, I thought the Winter Soldier would be your favorite.
I mean, I do like that's a solid one, but yeah, not my favorite. It's a solid choice though.
Oh man,
I do like that. It'll be interesting at the end of the series when we rank. Rank these movies. I just wish that Marvel or Disney wouldn't release 3 movies in a year each year.
Well, that's fine with me.
I hate that. Like, give us time to breathe and settle on the movies we did get.
It's a genre.
I mean, I think they're just trying
At this point,
I think
at this point, superhero and comic book movies are a genre, and TV shows are a
well,
genre.
sure, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, I think they're starting to get fatigued. So Disney's like, crap, let's crank these out, make as much money as we can while it still is a craze.
As long as it's like fresh takes on the genre, it's fine.
I guess. I'm also curious to why they hire like not first time actors, mind you, but like not actors, sorry. I misspoke. Directors. You know, people who've never tackled like the even action genre. I wonder why they're getting these people to direct these Marvel movies. Is it like a
like? What are you talking about?
Like well, even Ant-Man was directed by someone who's like never done action before, let alone a superhero film.
Well, Peyton Reed.
Yeah. And the new Shang-Chi, I think that's like someone who's hardly done anything. Also with the upcoming The Eternals, I think she's only done like dramas.
Okay.
Now I'm just wondering, is it like a low risk thing getting these like relatively fresh directors, or is it like a cost reward thing? Because if you get like I don't know, like an esteemed director, is it more of a risk? I don't know anything about showbiz. I'm just trying to.
So I mean, would you rather the directors do the same? Would you rather the directors do the same thing over and over?
No, I'm not saying that at all, and I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I'm just curious because you give like these huge properties to like directors who've never done action before. I think it's a good thing to give directors and new actors a new spotlight. Of course, I'm just curious because this is like Disney we're talking here, so I'm just wondering what the case is.
I mean, Peyton Reed, I know was
actually Edgar Wright was
him and James Gunn to direct Guardians.
I think Edgar Wright was supposed to direct this one.
Yeah,
and
he'd been working on Ant-Man for years.
I know, but he dropped out.
And creative differences.
I wonder what the movie would have been like with him, like having complete control. Because he is a good director, although I didn't really care for Scott Pilgrim.
It would have been interesting. I'm not going to say it wouldn't have been, but I think Peyton Reed did a good job.
I think he did terrible.
I honestly was expecting you to like this movie.
Nope. Yes, man. I've seen that long ago. Didn't care for it.
What?
Yes, man, with Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Yeah, what about it?
He just directed it.
Who, Peyton Reed?
Yeah. But I guess sort of I don't know, a positive / negative is it's much less like going on and much less bombastic than the other MCU films. And it's kind of refreshing getting like a solo hero story, I guess, but it just feels weird coming off the thrills of like Age of Ultron and these 2 Avengers movies and like Winter Soldier, like so much conflict going on with all these different characters, and then it's just this single solo, as you call it, heist movie. It just seems out of place. I know that Ant-Man plays a significant role in the end game, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems inorganic to shoehorn this right after all this like much cooler stuff happens. I don't know. I think they should have established a lot more of these solo stories at the beginning and built them up from the beginning instead of like shoehorning it in 2 or 3 years before the not finale, but kind of it's kind of a finale. I don't know if people care as much for the MCU as much as before Endgame. I'd assume not, but
Hold on, what now?
for which part? I was talking for like 5 minutes.
The very last part.
I don't think people care as much for the MCU as like before Endgame.
I beg to differ.
I mean, sure.
Spider-Man No Way Home alone.
I mean, I don't really care for the Spider-Man movies, but sure, I'm sure there's probably a lot of people.
I guarantee you, when Toby and Andrew show up, you will.
I'll cry and go, Toby! Sorry.
Heck, you've seen the trailer, haven't you? You know they're bringing Doc Ock. You've seen Doc Ock back on screen.
Hello, Peter. Parker.
It don't sound like that, but okay.
I know. I mean, they already wrapped up that Doc Ock story perfectly in Spider-Man 2. Why they gotta bring him back? I think it's kind of stupid. But that, I don't know. It's kind of... just leave old properties alone. You don't have to tie everything in. Please stop. That's just my opinion, though. I know you're excited for it. I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade, but... Director, stop. Come up with something else. I mean...
We're in the multiverse now.
I know, but just think about it. It's like, what most people are excited about is older stuff of the Spider-Man property. They don't care about this Tom Holland one. I mean, Far From Home was kind of in my opinion. So it's kind of left like people, it's like, where does this go next? It's kind of uninteresting. It's like, oh, let's bring back the old villains and potentially the old Spider-Mans. People are like, yeah, I remember those. This kind of feels like a cheap way to get people in the seats, if you ask me.
We have completely different view perspectives.
I mean, I'm just telling you how the industry works. They're just feeding into your nostalgia. Because, I mean, the Spider-Man property, there's like nowhere to go from here. It's like, if this was solely like, this is like solely continuing that Spider-Man story. It's like, all right, this is getting old. I mean, they do that with Spider-Man all the time. It's like, it's never gone past 3. So I was like, all right, scrap it. Let's do another origin story. And I get why they did it for the Tom Holland one with the MCU, but I'd prefer Spider-Man was not part of the MCU at all. But
be sure to add some cricket noises right after you say that.
I mean, you don't have to agree with me, but I just know what's right in my heart. I'm not saying your viewpoint is stupid. I mean, I assume you think mine is, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that would agree with me out there.
Honestly, you're the first person that I've ever talked to or heard that has said that they don't want Spider-Man in the MCU. I mean, Spider-Man has been in the MCU for... I can't remember I can't remember if they made it official in 2014 or 2015.
Like his first appearance was in Civil War?
7 years. Yes, first appearance was in Civil War. Spoiler
Right.
alert.
2016. Yeah, of course I know that.
But it was announced like at the end of 2014, early 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Because people were I remember the expectations of, well, not really expectations, but the speculation, shall I say, maybe a better way to put it, of the end credit scene of Age of Ultron being a Spider-Man. Because I remember there was a little leaked footage that was called the official post-credit scene of Avengers Age of Ultron, and it was just a window washer washing, cleaning the windows, and once he went down the side of a window with a squeegee, there was Spider-Man like there telling them that he missed a spot or whatever. And that was it.
Yeah. What was the argument?
Huh?
Well, what was your argument?
What was my argument for what?
I don't know. You were you making an argument?
All I said was you're literally the first person I've ever heard in 6 or 7 years to say that you don't want Spider-Man in the MCU.
I guess that makes me a special snowflake. I mean, I think what's so captivating about the MCU,
strange cat.
I think what's so captivating about the MCU thus far is introducing these comic book characters that we've never seen or hardly ever seen on screen before. I'm tired of seeing Spider-Man. I'm tired of it. I mean, I like Spider-Man, don't get me wrong. He's it would be one of my favorite superheroes, but just give it a break, guys. Tired of seeing Spider-Man on the screen so much. Different iterations. But I think you have to agree. I mean, that's sort of what's made the MCU so big, is introducing these like comic book characters to life, for lack of a better word. And for that matter, I'm also gonna say I'm tired of seeing Batman on the screen too.
You gotta look at like the what's the word? Circumstances surrounding because you said that they never reach past the third.
Yeah.
I gotta look back, because I know Spider-Man 4 was in the works, the Tobey Maguire.
Well,
and then they canceled.
That doesn't mean it ever came to fruition. I'm sure there was a script for Mark Webb's Spider-Man 3, but never saw the light of day. I think I have a few more points to discuss with.
And I'm just reading this because I can't remember the exact statement. That explained why that Spider-Man 4 was canceled.
I mean, sometimes executives like, no more interest. We saw slightly lower box office. You're done, pal.
It dealt with the Raimi leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then Amazing Spider-Man 2, that all the stuff that was going on with the hacking, I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. I think the hacking was supposedly North Korea hacking, because this was back with the interview, that James Franco and Seth Rogen comedy movie. But because I know that's when it first got brought up with them, Sony and Marvel talking about the possibility of having Spider-Man in the MCU. Anyways, I don't know if it was a flop. Oh, okay. No, it wasn't. But it was a not commercially, critically a failure. Like a serious, ooh, man.
Amazing Spider-Man 2?
With Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay, sure.
I want to say there was something else that was going on. Yes, February 2015 was when they announced that Spider-Man would be in the MCU.
Mm-hmm. Well, what argument were you going to make with me saying that Spider-Man hasn't made it past 3?
Just that there was, because there's only been 3 Spider-Man series, like, period, of all ever. But there were some things that were going on behind the scenes that caused the Tobey Maguire stuff to end at Spider-Man 3. They were going to make the Spider-Man 4, but it just never happened.
Sure, yeah, I'm aware.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they were going to make Amazing Spider-Man 3. Stuff happened.
Right.
And I think they're going to make Spider-Man, honestly, with the MCU...
What were you going to say? They're going to make...
I was about to say they're going to make Spider-Man 4 with the MCU, but I just don't... I don't know what the future will hold, to be honest with you, with the MCU. I know it's going to do with the multiverse. The Fantastic Four is going to show up. The X-Men, like, it's going.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of brings me up to, like, a conflicting thought with the
Fantastic Four. I am so happy with the X-Men. I have mixed feelings about some of the characters.
Yeah, I'm just kind of conflicted of, like, should we stop this MCU series after Endgame, or it just seems like it'll go on forever because they're like, I don't know. I guess this will be...
I'm perfectly fine with it going on.
All right.
Which then again, I'm a fan of superhero and comic books and all that stuff, and I know you're not the biggest fan.
I'm not saying I'm not a fan. It's just some of these.
I mean, comparatively, you're not really that big of a fan.
Sure. Well, stay tuned, folks, for going through the MCU part 24.
You gonna give your score?
Huh? I was just making a joke of, like, this MCU series going on forever.
I know I said that before you said the MCU part 24.
We're like on part, I don't even know, 7 now.
Well, considering the fact that we've made, I'm trying to, what was it, 4 episodes of 4 different movies?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. So I know we did 1 episode for Ultron, did 1 episode for, Ant-Man, did 1 episode for Guardians, did 1 episode for Winter Soldier.
What's this next set of 2
There's
movies?
4 of the part 3.
Yeah.
Next set is Civil War and Doctor Strange.
All right, let's do 2 movies again. And 2 movies I've never seen.
I mean, I would say I don't even know what to expect with your opinions with these movies anymore. Because before this, I was gonna say that I do think you're gonna like Civil War, but now I'm gonna say you will hate Civil War to counteract it.
I don't think I'll hate it. I don't think I'll hate it. Doctor Strange is a toss-up. It could go either way, I guess.
Doctor Strange. It's a 50-50 shot.
What? I'm just curious. What made you kind of think that I would love Ant-Man?
Well, the humor, the heist aspect, mainly those 2.
I mean, how's this humor any different than the other Marvel movies? Or more highbrow, I should say.
Well, the kind of nod and winking to the camera with the
Oh, I hate that
making
stuff.
fun of the Ant-Man name.
I mean, I think I've expressed that on the Scooch podcast before. I hate those little like winks to the camera. Haha, we're self-aware.
The Michael Pena character. And that's all that comes to mind right now.
Yeah. Also, wanted to say, MCU knows how to pack a punch, and what I mean by that is sometimes they have really good action scenes. I felt the action in this was. I felt like they didn't know how to handle it.
Scene.
I feel like they didn't know how to handle it, so they just like, let's just end it off with a joke to soften it. Because if the fighting didn't land, this joke certainly will, and it made it feel so awkward to me. I'm talking about, I think just about every action scene that was like deafened by a cheap joke at the end of it. And I for one did not care for that at all.
What cheap joke was at the end?
I mean, I'm not gonna go through what they said verbatim, but just watch it. Even the ending fight had like a cheap joke at the end.
You're going to back that up, because...
All right, I will behind the scenes, but I'm telling you, I know how I felt during the scene. I took notes. Every fight scene was softened by some cheap joke, like some cheap wink, trying to get a little laugh at you because the action's not that good in this film. I will say, one of the highlights I thought was cool was when Ant-Man went subatomic. But there's hardly a conflict there because it just resolved itself quickly.
That plays into Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it resolved quickly. It's like, could have handled that better.
Mm.
But I mean, that was a cool part of the film. I could say was cool. I'm not gonna totally diss this movie, but it's more than not just like
you kind of are.
I meant I'm just expressing my thoughts. I think they handled a lot of things poorly.
The fight with I don't understand. Yeah, I don't agree with you.
Can you like debate with me of why it's good? Make a counter argument.
It's the first time I've ever seen a fight with the viewpoint of how a normal person would see some stuff happening with like a Thomas the Tank engine.
Mm-hmm.
How when it was from the viewpoint of the Yellow Jacket, it looked terrifying, kind of with it.
Right, I've seen that joke a million times in movies. I can't tell you where exactly I saw him, but I've seen that joke play verbatim in another film.
Okay, well,
Like, it just doesn't take its action seriously. My point exactly. They're fighting on a Thomas the Tank Engine set. Why do I care? Why do I care about the action in this? And I want to make another argument. Just because something's different doesn't necessarily make it good. I will say that as well. And even if like this attempted to do anything different, it wasn't that much ambition to be different. It still wanted to play it safe. If it went totally wacky like I expect Doctor Strange to be, then I might be more on board with it. And I think that's all I had to say. Yeah, that's it. Oh, and screw Paul Rudd. I'm just kidding. I don't hate him, but I don't like him either. Well, I guess it's there's some awkwardness in the air. I think I don't know.
We're about to have our own civil war.
Over Ant-Man, I'd much rather have it over something a much bigger deal than Ant-Man. Please, please, for the love of God. If you're gonna make a war, make it something worth fighting for. But I think with that being said, we should get into our conclusions and scores. And I pretty much told you mine. I don't really care for this movie. It just felt very underdeveloped. At points felt like a TV show, like cheap looking, like I've discussed at the beginning of this podcast. Didn't care for any of the characters. Don't care how this plays out in the MCU, to be frank. I don't care what the next movie holds. Giving this a 3 out of 10.
So it's not your lowest rated.
What'd I give Guardians a 2?
I want to say you gave it a 2. I could be wrong.
Let me check. I feel like I gave Guardians a 4.
I want to say it was either a 2 or 3. I know that.
Well, even if
I'm
even if it's
5% sure.
even if it's if I rated it lower than this one, I still enjoyed that one more than Ant-Man.
Okay.
But I might just, if it is that, I might just change my score for consistency's sake. What was it? Guardians. You go ahead. No one's stopping you. Release that inner Sigma male.
I just thought you were going to enjoy this movie. Jeez. I do enjoy this movie. It's one of my I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember my ranking. I don't remember where I put it.
It wasn't low. I do remember it wasn't that low.
I know it wasn't in my top 10. It was like right outside it. I know that. But I don't remember if it was like number 11.
No, I gave Guardians a 3, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Find it real quick. I probably could have looked this up while you were talking, but you know.
You know.
Ant-Man, where you at? Okay, I put it at number 13. I may rank it a little higher. I don't think it'd be in my top 10, but it'd be a little bit higher. Overall, I really enjoyed it. Man, it really caught me up.
I prepped you for the show. I said I think you'll be disappointed on my thoughts.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know when you're trolling or when you're doing whatever with text.
Jesus.
Yeah, I do really enjoy this movie. It's one of my favorites. Main criticism would be Corey Stoll is the Yellow Jacket. Probably be my main criticism. Overall, I enjoy it. Score 80.
All right. Thank you all for watching today's episode. In the next episode, we will either be talking about Malignant with our old pal Scooter, or we'll be continuing on this MCU series with Captain America, Civil War, and Doctor Strange. So stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. And if you want to help us out, you can donate to our Patreon. It probably will help us be more consistent with these episodes. And with that, we give you a hearty mash out.